After the election is over and the Tories are wrecked, who will climb to the top of the rubbish heap to claim the position of Tory leader? Well, here are three potential candidates. Twice sacked Home Secretary Suella Braverman.
So yes, I'm afraid, Madam Deputy Speaker, it's the Labour Party, it's the Lib Dems, it's the coalition of chaos, it's the Guardian reading, tofu-eating, wokerati, dare I say, the anti-growth coalition that we have to thank for the disruption that we are seeing on our roads today.
Always quick to blame others, Braverman has never been far from controversy.
At noon, the new Prime Minister promised integrity, professionalism and accountability. At 5 p.m, he reappointed the former Home Secretary, who resigned from the post just 1 week ago, saying she had broken the ministerial code and admitting she had sent confidential documents outside government from a private email.
Even her handling of a speeding fine became a huge story.
In relation to your question, last summer I was speeding, I regret that. I paid the fine and I took the points. But we're focused now on delivering for the British people and working for them.
Did you ask civil servants to put you on a one-on-one speeding course?
In relation to the process, I'm focused on delivering for the British people, do my job as Home Secretary. What I will say is that, in my view, I'm confident that nothing untoward has happened.
Would you welcome an investigation into this? Have you spoken to the Prime Minister? Would you welcome one?
As I said, I'm focused on working as Home Secretary, that's why I'm here. I've met with victims today. I'm making a big announcement today. I'd appreciate the focus on an announcement which is standing up for victims and survivors. In relation to the speeding ticket and my fine and points, I'm very confident nothing
Just very finally on this, Prime Minister, but this is really important because you've broken rules before, you've had a resign for breaking the ministerial code, you've admitted now to breaking or having a speeding fine, you've accused of breaking the code for a second time. How good a look is it for a senior politician, one of the most senior politicians of the country, to be viewed as a constant rule breaker?
I got a speeding ticket, I paid the fine, I took the points. In my view, nothing untoward has happened. Thank you.
But it was her weaponising of migrants into a key issue that brought her a lot of attention. But as much as she spouted vile rhetoric, she was always doing it for the British people.
But the British people are also realistic. The British people want to see they want to stop people dying. The British taxpayer cannot continue to fork out £6 million a day.
And that included taking on the radical left.
But look at what the radical left is preoccupied with. Decolonising the curriculum, demanding reparations, denigrating our heroes, tearing down statues. These all aim at undermining decent people's belief in the goodness of their country. And when the silent majority is compelled to raise its voice in objection, we're attacked as the extremists. We're the ones accused of fighting a culture war. The term culture war has become one of the most meaningless phrases in contemporary political discourse. It's become an epithet to hurl at a political opponent you disagree with, to discredit rather than engage with the substance of their argument.
Or there's James Not So Cleverly. He got everybody saying batshit.
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 He may even, on occasion, have privately called it batshit.
Batshit.
Called the constituency of Stockton North shit.
He was seen and heard to say, because it's a shithole.
And then he joked to guests at a Downing Street bash that he spiked his wife's drink.
Now the Home Secretary, James Cleverly, has apologised after he joked at a reception in Downing Street about spiking his wife's drink with a date rape drug.
The Sunday Mirror alleges that James Cleverly told fellow guests that the secret to a long marriage was ensuring your spouse was someone who is always mildly sedated, so she can never realise there are better men out there.
What about Kemi Badenoch? She's always up for a face-off, even if it's with the Speaker of the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very sorry that the sequencing that we chose was not to your satisfaction. I was...
Order. That is totally not acceptable. No. Who do you think you're speaking to, Secretary of State? I think we need to understand each other. I am the defender of this House and these benches on both sides. I am not going to be spoken to by a Secretary of State who is absolutely not accepting my ruling. Take it with good grace and accept it, that members should hear it first, not a WMS or what you decide. These members have been elected by their constituents and they have the right to hear it first. And it is time this government recognised we're all elected, we're all members of Parliament, and use the correct manners. Secretary of State.
Mr. Speaker, I apologise. What I was trying to say was that I'm very sorry that I did not meet the standards which you expect of Secretaries of State.
And she doesn't mind going against parliamentary rules to call other MPs liars.
You've made statements that contradict some of the best available evidence, including the government's own data. For instance, the LGBT survey that showed that there's no evidence of trans in a way the gay, but substantial evidence that trans people were at twice the risk of being exposed to conversion practices. And you've also made these statements using inflammatory language that likens children and young people coming out as trans to the spread of a disease.
I've never said that. That is a lie.
Well,
that is a lie, and I think you should withdraw that statement. That is a lie.
Who would you pick? Want some more choices? Click here for Penny, Liz or Suella.